Gulbis. Iguales 50 on. First game. Gulbis is challenging the ball on the baseline. The ball was called good. Ball is overturned. 40-30, 40-30. Nadal. Iguales, one game on.
The nadal challenge in the call on the left near sideline. Ball is Gulbis.
Ball stands. Going on. Gulbis. Gulbis gana 2-1. Gulbis leads 2-1. Nadal has points. 2 challenges remaining.
Armani Diamonds for Men, the new fragrance.
Notorious. Notorious, the new women's fragrance from Ralph Lauren, now playing everywhere.
Are you still paying full price for your ticket at the station? People buying in advance at thetrainline.com saved an average of 39%. Thetrainline.com, your first stop for train tickets.
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
Por favor. Tercero, 13 out. Tercero, 14 out. 15-30. Puerta iguales, chao. Cheers. Very well, Gulbis. Gulbis got 3 stops. Gulbis leads 3 games to 2.
Why do we keep following the same old design rules? Imagine if we could start again with a blank canvas.
Desperate to get rid of your textured walls and ceilings? There is a better way. Polycell Smooth Over covers a textured surface to get it smooth, ready for painting. And the new tools now make it even easier. Polycell, behind every great finish.
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
6th straight visit to the Spanish capital for Nadal for this particular event. Won it in 2005 with a 5-set victory over Ivan Lubicic. Lost in the quarterfinals last couple of years. First one of those for Nadal. He won't be giving up too many. You can see that Nadal is very keen to get whipped into these rallies, to get Gulbis on the move, not allow him to set to deliver his shots.
Yes, because I feel one of his concerns at him must be that Gulbis, as the shot maker, may hit a hot patch, and actually on this surface he could get hit off for a period of time.
I think that he'll be happy with the proceedings so far, Nadal. It's one of those things when you come out against somebody like Gulbis who can run hot, the worst thing that can happen is early couple of games you either play a sloppy game or he just gets on fire and suddenly you're up against it in very difficult conditions. To be up a break, I think he'll take 3 games apiece right now. Once again, displaying the type of tennis that has taken him to the top of the game.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think this court and the way it plays with the balls and the altitude is a very good court for Nadal, because it's fiery and his shots are firing up. But I also think it does help shot makers as well, because once you hit it, it actually flies through the court very, very quickly. What I feel that we'll also see from Nadal is probably going behind this man quite a bit with his shots, keep making him turn. I do think he still looks a little vulnerable in that department.
Strong second serve there from Gulbis.
There's so much pressure though, isn't there? I'm sure Gulbis feels he plays a couple of poor points and he's going to get broken.
I'm sure the other thought that is running through Nadal's mind as well is if he can get on top of the 20-year-old early, that maybe the resistance won't be quite so strong as well. He's made it. Oh, Nadal's elected to challenge. I wonder whether he would have done that if Gulbis has made that. I mean, that almost seems as though it's a shot late, to be honest.
Well, he is allowed a reaction shot, isn't he, Nadal?
1 or 2. Doesn't matter. It's all academic. It's Gulbis' point. I think he deserved it as well. Is entertaining from Gulbis. Great imagination from the 20-year-old. 4-3 first set.
And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors.
Spectacular. spectacular sport made more spectacular. This is Sky Plus in high definition. Sky. Believe in better.
We're all looking for new ways to save money these days. But some are more practical than others. At Lloyds TSB, you won't only find savings accounts with great rates, we've also got loads of practical tips that could save you hundreds of pounds. Be a savvy saver. Visit us online or in branch. Lloyds TSB, for the journey.
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
Good crowd in for this evening match, as you would expect for one of the biggest names in Spain currently, if not the biggest name in sport, certainly Rafael Nadal. He has the new balls and he has a stern challenge on his hands this evening.
Got such a solid look to that backhand as Gulbis transfers his weight so well for it. This is a touch of the Andy Murray's about that shot. It's a really simple take back, generates so much power off it. Mark, when I watch Gulbis, Cilic, Murray, even Djokovic, what I actually see in their backhands, I see Marat Safin. You know, that they've grown up watching Safin. I obviously thought he was tremendous, and you can see it's a very similar setup that they all have.
Gave him half a chance, but Gulbis unable to come up with something a little special.
It's not really flowing at the moment. I think maybe there's some anxiety out here with what Gulbis can do, or maybe he's just not timing the ball as well as he might.
For the stringer for that, a stringer. Racket or? Yes, for. Okay.
Fascinating how often he does that, get his rackets strung during the course of a match. So many of these players have them all done before they come out. Several different tensions. Rafa always uses the tournament stringer. Enjoying his debut here in Madrid at the moment, Gulbis.
Yes, and he has got a very fresh-faced look about him, hasn't it? That everything is new, and it's a wonderful time in your career, the first sort of year or two, where you start to get into all the big tournaments and you get treated a lot better. Hasn't got that jaded look of a few years down the track where he's maybe slightly fatigued of coming to Madrid every year. I don't know how you could be. Wonderful city.
Hotels are better. Cars are a little better that carry you to and from. He's probably thinking to himself, the ball girls are a bit more attractive at this level as well.
Despite the fact they're not wearing a great deal, I am quite concerned about that.
Mr. Nadal will challenge in the call. The right service line.
Follows Gulbis.
It ends up being a great challenge. It's quite a considerable different distance out.
30-15.
And also for Gulbis, and I'm sure he probably doesn't know it, that Raul, the Real Madrid striker, is actually in the stadium tonight watching this match. A man, I think, who used to be more famous than Nadal. I don't think he is as famous as Nadal. Maybe in Madrid, I think they'd be going pretty close in the fame game.
Vein that runs through Gulbis' tennis, and I hope he doesn't lose that over the course of his career. There's his coach, Karl-Heinz Vetter. Because he can be box office for the tour. He's more than making his name and his presence felt here in Madrid at the moment. 5-4.
This is between me and you. Nurse, these people are mad. Cuckoo. What in the world could save these people? These people are mad. Completely bananas.
The new SEAT Ibiza, where beauty and technology come together.
Let's try again, Frank.
I was at work. Don't give me that. We check with your boss.
I got a dozen officers who can put you in Pasadena that day.
Okay. Look, if my wife finds out, it was a moment of weakness.
You a two-timer, Frank?
He led me on.
He?
The guy that sold me these. All that money!
So what are you gonna tell her?
I'll say I was seeing another woman.
Should have gone to Specsavers, Frank.
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
Current world number one, who finds himself serving to stay in this opening set. People still filing into the arena. That's what Nadal is waiting for them to settle down.
I wonder if Nadal will actually try and load up with even more sprint, give himself a little more height over the net to give himself more time maybe to maintain his court position and just pick up some of these balls from Gulbis.
That's what he's wary about doing, is dropping the ball in that particular sort of portion of the court and allowing Gulbis a look at that shot. I think the 20-year-old just missed it. But that's where the danger will come from for Nadal.
And I'm starting to wonder, one of the problems that Nadal has with Gulbis is that just how hard this youngster hits it. And he's not really, and on an indoor court and the way it all comes through on this surface, that he doesn't look quite comfortable yet, does he? I'm sure it will come.
Challenging Gulbis physically there, Nadal. There's Raul. Effortless, isn't it?
It is. It's easy power, and I love the way now he's just giving himself a little more room to swing on that corner. I felt when I first, about a year ago, he's very crunched up on that side, and it's giving him options as well, isn't it?
Almost get the sense as Nadal holds on to that service game that he's so wary of the challenge that Gulbis is going to pose him over the next few years, that he doesn't want to allow him to get a victory early on in their rivalry, because it just adds to the element of belief that somebody like Gulbis could beat him. And I think if you just can keep these types of players down, it makes your life a little bit easier.
Well, I think I can remember you saying exactly the same thing about Roger Federer a few years ago when the Murrays and the Djokovic's were there. He was very keen to stamp on them early.
Left service line.
Just close your eyes and know what the outcome of this Hawkeye challenge will be, and just listen. That could be one of the most effective shots he hits all evening, Nadal. That slice backhand that has improved so much. There's no pace on it by the time it's bounced and has got to his opponents. Monstrous hitting from Gulbis. Not often you see Nadal that off balance.
Well, I think it's easy just to be very casual about what we're watching here and what he's able to do, particularly walking onto a court where he's been totally intimidated in the tunnel. I mean, also, not only was Nadal, really imposing his physical presence, but he was also dancing up and down. He was about sort of 2-love up before he'd even got out here, and then coming on with this crowd and everything. I mean, he is just playing such relaxed tennis.
It's Atlanta 15-13.
That's how he's keeping Nadal at bay at the moment, going for big second serves. But it's also contributed to that number there. Gulbis has been redlining it all the way through this opening set.
15-14.
And the moment he drops below that, Nadal carves out an opportunity.
Especially the Pete Sampras about that serve, isn't there, in terms of that was a serve that Sampras always used to go to in this kind of situation, or when he needed to nick a point.
Didn't need to steal anything there, he was given it on a plate. And Nadal breaks through and will serve for the opening set, 6-5.
6 games to 5.
If you're looking for rewarding savings, here's a gift of an idea from Abby. The new Reward Saver has a fixed rate and rewards you every year you save with Abby. As well as a guaranteed 5% return, you'll be rewarded with a bonus of 1.5% at the end of the first year, giving you a total of 6.5%. For more about Abby's Reward Saver, call 0800 80 80 80. Abby, part of the Santander Group.
Give me Pepsi Max.
Yes, of course you can give up. But in the future, you might regret your sad, spared life that day for this one chance to...
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
So the number 1 seed, the world number 1. Fans number 1, serving for the opening set. think in the back of Nadal's mind, this is what he's been sort of waiting for, is like when the moment gets so big and the pressure is at its maximum, the errors will come from Gulbis.
Yes, but I think there's definitely anxiety about Rafa and the way he's played this opening set. I do feel in his mind's eye that he's thinking, yes, I could get a few free points here, but I'm not absolutely sure. And Gulbis 54 in the world now. I wouldn't be surprised if this time next year he wasn't top 20. Was a very good return, wasn't it?
It really was. I think it might have been an excellent call as well. Not easy to get that right on that angle, but
Challenge in the call on the left near sideline. Ball was called out.
Nadal electing to challenge us more out of hope than anything else. So, an awkward moment for Nadal as he looks to capture this first set. He's not immune to nerves himself, is he?
No, he's not, and I think particularly when someone is, you know, as ambitious and as thunderous with his shot making as Gulbis, it's not helping Nadal.
Just a little overexcited. Full run, and he had to slam the brakes on to get in position for the shot and rip it up the line. He may be frustrated, but I don't think the outcome was completely unexpected. Back to deuce.
Forehand just gets a little raggedy sometimes, doesn't it? But that's all. Just pulls off it occasionally.
It is a massive threat and a massive asset, but you do feel at certain times he just needs to temper the impulsiveness of it. Wonderful finish for a highly entertaining set. Uncle Tony happy about that. And Nadal steeled himself before the match for the challenge, and he takes the opening set.
Tomorrow night, the next round of World Cup qualifiers. On Sky Sports 2, the Republic of Ireland play their third group game. At home to Cyprus, Trapattoni is looking for a convincing win.
Goal to Ireland!
At the same time on Sky Sports 3, Northern Ireland plays San Marino. After struggling away from home, they need their loyal fans to help them bounce back.
Great chance for Northern Ireland.
World Cup qualifying football in association with Hyundai tomorrow from 7 p.m. live on Sky Sports.
Christian Studio.
Christian. Get out!
Do much like that track anyway. Excuse me? You say you hate it?
Didn't say I hate it.
Tour's over. Out. You two stretch. Oh, that's good. That's real good. Out!
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
Well, Rafa looks to be on his way. We've got a marquee day for you tomorrow. Some really big names in action from 10 o'clock in the morning on Sky Sports 1. Likes of Roger Federer up against Radek Stepanek. Andy Roddick playing Tommy Robredo. Nikolai Davydenko in action against Robbie Ginepri. And that's to name but just a few. Novak Djokovic also involved. The top four in the world have already guaranteed their place at the year-end championship. For a lot of other players, the race is on for Shanghai.
An old Chinese proverb says that a journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step.
He has the tennis world at his feet. What a victory for Andy Murray. Djokovic wins it. Roger Federer is champion in New York.
They will be in Shanghai, but who will join them? The Masters Cup starts Sunday, November 9th, only on Sky Sports.
That's something to look forward to, but for now, Rafa's just concentrating on finishing the job off against the talented Ernest Gulbis. Back to Sam and Mark.
50% of the job done for Nadal this evening. Slightly uncomfortable set for the world number one. Just feel though that there's enough of those going to come his way that Nadal will see off Gulbis ultimately.
Well, he's just started the second set in really the way that I feared he might. I hope he wasn't going to start it like this, but you can understand he hit the ball so well in that first set, and then not to win it was quite difficult to deal with.
In set 15-13.
Split second to make that decision about whether to hit it or block it, and I think Nadal perhaps would have liked to have blocked that back and got himself involved in the rally.
What I feel is fascinating in this set with Gulbis is it will tell us even more about him, wouldn't it? How he reacts, how he copes. Can he maintain the level of that first set?
Atlanta 14-13.
Sixth double for Gulbis. If you want to be optimistic, at least he's playing the match on his terms. He's certainly the man that's winning or losing the majority of the points out here.
Well done, that first set only hit 4 winners. And that tells you quite a lot. And that's uncomfortable for Nadal, isn't it? Not really able to extend the points as long as he might, and Gulbis very keen to keep the points short as possible.
Away with it. Nadal was on his way before Gulbis had even thought about hitting that shot, but Nadal still hasn't hit his best form in this match yet. He may well not have to get through, but still. That perhaps an illustration of the respect that Nadal has for Gulbis's forehand.
Might see a similar shot placement for Gulbis as well when they spin this graphic around, which they're not going to do.
But I'm sure we would have done. That's why, because he can just ramp it up on that particular side. Stunning hitting from Gulbis. He's coming alive.
What is a little worrying for Nadal is that how comfortable Gulbis is out here with the pace, with the spins. I'm not convinced that Nadal's getting quite enough length as he normally does. Still not convinced that Nadal's seeing the ball that well this evening.
Atlanta 15-13.
Nadal must have known he was in trouble. As soon as he had hit that shot, it was sure it didn't have any sort of pace on it, any height, and it came through just where Gulbis wanted it. Oh, and he's made it. What a game from Gulbis. You asked at the start of the game, Sam, we're going to find out a little what Gulbis is made of. Well, I think he just showed us.
Well, he did. He combined his shot so well. He waited, and he's picked the right one as well. He trusts his backhand up down the line. And the more I watch Nadal, the more I feel he's not getting the ball through this court enough. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's tension. I don't think it's tiredness, because he seems to have finished the year very strong. Hasn't competed since the Davis Cup right after the US Open. So he comes into Paris very fresh.
And he's stolen that point away from Nadal as well. Fantastic passage of play from the 20-year-old.
Yes, just getting the mix absolutely right, and his creativity is paying off. And I have to say, excuse me, I was getting ahead of myself. We're not in Paris, we're in Madrid.
Sitting next to me makes you all romantic.
It's not quite what I'd call it, but well, this all comes back to your equation, Mark. Is Nadal almost going to have to rely on Gulbis missing out here?
At the moment, he is. I don't think he particularly wants to be as extreme as it is right now. But certainly it is Gulbis who is bossing the points. Was that caught out? Well, it certainly looked in. I think it's been given in by Gulbis ultimately. Amazing how he can turn things around.
30-40.
Rising to the challenge. Chance to get the break back.
Himself, doesn't he? And he's got, as well as all the power, he's got terrific feel as well. I mean, to be honest, if he was just a little more flexible in his movement, you would say there is a touch of the Safins about him. Not in temperament, just the way he likes to play the game. And he's got that easiness about him that Safin always brought to the court and still does on his day.
almost goaded Gulbis into making that mistake.
Nadal.
Well, this is almost showing Nadal at his defensive best, actually. Happy to scrap. I mean, he doesn't have a big ego when he plays it. He doesn't have a big ego at all, but when he plays his tennis, certainly not. He's playing second fiddle out here.
Seventh ace.
Gulbis.
Oh, he's got it past Nadal. Couldn't have asked for a better start to this second set, Gulbis. Saves the break points and extends his advantage. 3-love.
Desperate to get rid of your textured walls and ceilings? There is a better way. Polysol Smooth Over covers a textured surface to get it smooth, ready for painting. And the new tools now make it even easier. Polysol, behind every great finish.
Why do we keep following the same old design rules? Imagine if we could start again with a blank canvas.
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
The city of Madrid love the Mallorcan. They gave him a gold medal of the city last year for his support of their 2016 candidacy for the Olympics, and also his support of this event. And he's going to need their support now to try and turn around proceedings here. It's been Gulbis at his absolute finest at the start of this second set. Nadal at love 3.
Well, when they played over 4 months ago, back in June, at Wimbledon, Gulbis only broke Nadal the once, and I do feel if he's to nick this set, he might need another break.
It's 15-all. Well, it's 40-50.
Certainly agree with your assessment that Nadal doesn't seem to be able to get the ball to react off this court as much as he would like at the moment to trouble Gulbis. That was a better one, a little more racket ahead, speed up the back of the ball. And a punishing exchange, Nadal won't mind that. Gulbis once again showing his ability from the back of the court. It's that ability that got him through to the quarterfinals of Roland Garros this year, lost to Djokovic. Also lost in the quarterfinals of Vegas and Cincinnati again to Djokovic. And I think that other thing is that he won't be overawed by the occasion of playing Nadal. I mean, he grew up practicing with Djokovic, so he's been around that type of greatness for his whole life.
Yes, I also feel that the Gulbis growing up in Latvia as well, he's always been a bit of a star there, hasn't he? Comes from quite a famous family. Mother was an actress, father was a top athlete as well, basketball player, I believe. So he's not exactly a shrinking violet, is he? But now the limelight's on him. What I think might help him in this match, if we were to fast forward, as you see, Jan Tiriac, who's tall this is that he doesn't seem to be doing an awful lot of running in this match, Gulbis. And I think that might help him if it was to get deep into the third potentially. I mean, there's still a huge way to go yet. Very few players able to do this, and I think it's the one shot that Roger Federer wouldn't mind having against Nadal as well. Being able to lean on that type of return. Talk about how we're going to produce more players and need hungrier players, people that wanted a little bit more at times. But certainly these two weren't struggling for a few bob when they were growing up. Both families definitely above average in terms of their ability to pay for their children's tennis. Yes, and it's interesting that you should say that, because they did a survey about 10 years ago, the men's tour, and I think they discovered that probably about 90% of the players were from sort of middle class backgrounds. I say middle upper class backgrounds, which is quite extraordinary, really.
Running out of superlatives for some of the creative shots that this man has hit in this match and executed on as well. He's keeping Nadal at bay in the second, 4-1.
You know how grip works. You know just how much to use and when you need it most. It's instinctive. At Audi, we use grip this way too. We call it Quattro. Independent grip, intelligently applied.
Sort out your finances this Saturday with a personal financial review.
Undercover work, Steve. Top notch. Top notch.
SatWest, another day.
Hello? You have 10 seconds.
What are you talking about?
Get down now. Hello? We have your son. Do what you're told. You are both required to complete a task.
How are you doing this?
We are everywhere. Disobey.
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
So Nadal still with work to do this evening. Captured his 12th Master Series title in Toronto earlier this year. Nadal speaks to the final of 8 out of the 9 Master Series. The only one so far is Cincinnati.
What is interesting about this year for a couple of the top men, really, Nadal, I mean, he was always really, the last 2 or 3 years, sort of said, oh, after Wimbledon, he's pretty much done, isn't he? Well, American hard courts, he was very strong. He's had a break since the Davis Cup after the US Open. He looks very fresh and strong. If he loses here, it's just because he's been outplayed. So he's finishing strong. Murray's finishing a lot stronger. Also Djokovic. In fact, the one that's actually tired this year is Roger Federer, ironically. I think the others can take up the baton for a while. I think he's put in enough end-of-season efforts to give him some credit on the board.
Nadal still needs to get a few more points on the board to secure his year-end ranking of #1, which he desperately craves. Puts it ahead of his Davis Cup goals for this year. So he's virtually assured it, unless he completely capitulates over the last few weeks and Federer wins everything, which he's clearly capable of doing. But a Gulbis victory here might just get people talking. May just reinvigorate Roger Federer as well.
He's made some of the right decisions, hasn't he, Gulbis, with his shot selection. Occasionally he hasn't quite executed, but this really keeps Nadal on the back foot, and I think that's been a lot of what Gulbis has brought to the court this evening.
It's Nadal who's going to have to take the opportunity once again at this changeover to figure out a way to start making life a bit tougher for Gulbis on serve. 5-2 to the Latvian.
Chemistry is the study of change, growth, then decay, then transformation.
You are not how I remember you from class. I mean, like, not at all. Organic compounds,
Although they may look the same, they don't always behave the same.
you got new players in town. Albuquerque just might have a new king.
Good,
Is there anything else holding back from your family?
bad.
Now's the time to share.
That's all of life, right?
Change the equation. Breaking Bad, Sunday at 10 on FX.
This is between me and you. Nurse, these people are mad. What in the world could save these people? These people are mad, completely bananas.
The new SEAT Ibiza, where beauty and technology come together.
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
Gulbis has had some wins over top 10 players this year. Well, in fact, only James Blake, but a couple of times against the American, he's beaten him. Tonight, we may well witness his greatest victory of his young career. He's got Nadal in a lot of trouble here in the second set. Oh.
His weight transfer is almost perfect, isn't it?
15 on.
Talked about the signs of Safin's backhand in there. There were signs of Agassi backhand in there because the backswing was so short and snappy.
Doesn't really want to allow Gulbis to start serving at the beginning of the third. It's not always such a big deal, but you just get the sense that that would help Gulbis if he could, just to stay ahead. Keep that level of belief. We can get off to a good start in the final set. Nadal will still try and thwart him.
Still keep feeling Nadal's timing not quite there because of what Gulbis is doing, but also the fact that he's not getting enough height over the net, is he?
Another shot that was hit with such velocity it got the error from Nadal. A couple of set points for Gulbis.
He just goes on and on, doesn't he? Nadal hasn't really done a lot since being those couple of set points down, but he hasn't given anything away either.
World number one, big and deep himself, hangs on to his serve. Sure what that means exchange was with last half, but obviously something on Nadal's mind. This set firmly on Gulbis' mind. is going to work.
Gulbis,
and he's going to try and make the Latvian cough up those types of unforced errors, and just a little concern for his physical well-being.
Well, there's just a sign that maybe Nadal's worked out what's going to happen. I think these little no paces is absolutely perfect against Gulbis.
Hasn't shied away from the challenge this evening, Gulbis, and he continues to fire down pretty big second serves. Cost him a break in the opening set. It may allow him to capture this second. Not this time for Nadal. We've seen it many times previously, though. That forehand on the run, up the line. Another couple of chances to seal this set. A wonderful set for Gulbis, but he'll be hoping he's not a one-set wonder. We're going to a decider.
Give me Pepsi Max.
Yes, of course you can give up. But in the future, you might regret your sad, spared life that day for this one chance to...
Sprzedajemy coraz więcej pralek w Indiach. Dowiedz się dlaczego.
W Indiach?
If you're going to do business internationally, you should be with a bank that knows about international business. HSBC Commercial Banking spans 64 countries and territories around the globe.
With your machines, I make 10 times more lassi than I used to.
Your business success is out there. Is your bank?
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
Intriguing climax to our live coverage on Tuesday. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow, of course. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, Sky Sports 1. Several big names in action, including Roger Federer against Radek Stepanek. We've got Novak Djokovic playing, Andy Roddick, who faces Tommy Robredo. So blink and you'll miss somebody in form or somebody who should be making a move during the course of this week. And if you weren't with us earlier, Andy Murray is safely through to the next round after a very comfortable success against Simone Bolelli, who retired with a shoulder injury at the start of the second set, having been annihilated in the first. Yet strangely, an hour or so later, Bolelli was fit enough to play doubles. One or two questions may be asked about that. Now, we have got the physio out again. We've seen this so many times today with Bolelli, also with Dmitry Tursunov. And now, having lost this second set, Rafa as well in a spot of bother, and that's obviously going to be a major concern for the Spanish crowd and the organisers. Let me just quickly give you some advance notice at the top of the hour. Assuming this match does continue, we'll be switching to Sky Sports 2. We'll be switching to Sky Sports 2 anyway for the final hour of our coverage for today, so that's in about 10 minutes' time. But Barry Cowan alongside me, this is not what Spanish supporters want to see at the moment.
No, it's certainly not, but how well has Gulbis played in the first set? Terrific tennis, but maybe just lacked the composure on the really big points. But the way he started the second set, broke early, And there's a lot for Rafa to think about, because, to be honest, for 2 sets, he's been scrambling from the back of the court. But there's always that big question, you know, can Gulbis find the line at 4-all in the third? I guess that's the big debate. If he hits as freely as he did, certainly towards the back end of the second set, we could have a big upset here.
Well, Rafa was magnificent yesterday in the doubles, which I'm sure helped him at the start of this match in particular tonight. If he hadn't had that little bit of practice, then who knows what the situation would be now. However, his body is playing up.
Yeah, it's certainly not the Rafa we've seen in the summer, but I think part of that is because of Gulbis, Marcus. He's hitting so hard early and not allowing Rafa to play his tennis close to the baseline, which is something that has been in evidence for the best part of this year.
Well, let's hope it's nothing serious and that the world #1 will be able to come out and give his all in the final set. But from the moment we saw this draw, we anticipated a tough start for Nadal, and that's exactly what it's turning out to be. Let's get back up to the commentary box and Sam and Mark.
Treatment over. The best cure you feel for the Spaniard would be a hold of serve followed by an early break and try and relieve some of the pressure that's been put on him throughout the course of this encounter by the younger man. So a one-set shootout in the Spanish capital. Generally, Sam, these are the sets that separate guys like Nadal from the rest. That he will find his best tennis.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? I don't think we're going to get anything different from Gulbis, really, in terms of the manner that he's going to play out the rest of this match. It's just really whether he can continue again at such a high intensity. I think he's played 2 high-intensity sets now. Whether he can play a third, I'm not sure if he knows, and obviously we don't know either. What are your thoughts on the drop shot strategy from Gulbis against Nadal? He's played them at the perfect time. Is that a good play against Nadal?
Yeah, I do think it is, especially when you hit the ball as hard as Gulbis does, because you basically force him back behind the court, that there is room to go there, and I think that it is absolutely the right tactic. It depends obviously on how you play. I think against certain players it wouldn't work for. But he creates room in the forecourt just because of the velocity of the shots off both sides. Second set's behind Nadal, business as usual. A convincing start. A bit of a grimace from the world #1 in terms of that slight strain that he's carrying. But he just seemed to have a little extra on a couple of those forehands, which has been strangely missing in that second set.
I just wonder, as we see the Gulbis service direction, which I don't think you can argue with, tying up Nadal around the tee. In that second set, Gulbis was, as I said, serving at 71%. I mean, we talked about how often his average can be down further than that. I mean, you cannot ask for more the way he is serving. Just wonder though, Nadal, who's hit the majority of balls to the Gulbis backhand, if he might switch it up, he might mix things up. There's definitely options there for the Spaniard. A very good feat from Gulbis, didn't overrun any of those shots. I think his positioning to the relationship to the ball is getting better and better. You could see him almost getting too close to that a few months ago, but not now.
How was that from Gulbis? I mean, laser-like. I mean, it was such a good shot. We've been talking about the lack of length from Nadal at times in this match, and Gulbis has capitalised on that, but there was nothing wrong with the shot from the world number one. He's chasing shadows. That was an impressive hold. He's talked about how Gulbis gave Nadal a run for his money at Wimbledon, and he's given him even a sterner test in his own backyard. Well, what a shot, and I'm glad you got a chance to witness that and enjoy it, because we're going to have to leave the viewers on Sky Sports 1 just now, but you can rejoin us over on Sky Sports 2 for the continuation of this classic encounter between the world number one against Ernest Gulbis, and Gulbis pushing Nadal all the way. Well, welcome to viewers of Sky Sports 2. You join us at the beginning of the final set between world number one Rafael Nadal and Ernest Gulbis, and a match that has really taken on epic proportions. We may just be witnessing the coming of age of this man.
Well, it's been a match really that Gulbis, it's been in his hands. He has dominated so much of it. In that second set, Nadal was just reduced to hitting one winner. And Gulbis hit 19. He's literally been playing the Spaniard in world number one off the court in what is, I would believe, the match of his life.
Trademark second serve. He loves to tuck up his opponents into the body. Did a good job there of neutralising the threat. Oh, come on. Outrageous winner.
Well, he's been outrageous the whole match, hasn't he? just comes right across the ball there. And look how it even moves away from the court, even though it looked like he was hitting it straight down that line.
A nervous look over to his uncle from Nadal.
The
threat very much in evidence to Nadal's title ambitions here in Madrid. A good first serve, stopping Gulbis for the moment.
Well, that was a chance, but it wasn't easy because there was slice on that ball from Nadal, and it's quite difficult to hit across that kind of spin.
And you can only marvel at the audacity of the shot, actually.
Well, I don't think there's a single one that he hasn't actually made across the net. He might not have always won the point, but I think about 90% of the time he has done so.
Nadal.
Magnificent. What a joy to watch.
Well, there was a couple of shots there from Nadal, that faded backhand, just floating it up the court, which I really thought was going to undo Gulbis. But he is just starting to show us his full repertoire, and the confidence that he has behind it in this kind of company is really special.
Well, it left another scorch mark, but unfortunately for Gulbis, it was just outside of the line.
And you almost can't argue with the shot selection, because by going for it, it wasn't totally outrageous, was it? Not a high percentage shot, but he's made so many of those kind of balls tonight.
such a stern challenge. But Nadal emerges, as so often he does, victorious. 2-1 to the world number one.
Nadal is 2-1.
Sponsored by Gillette. Coming soon. Sky Sports.
This is between me and you. Nurse, these people are mad. Cuckoo. What in the world could save these people? These people are mad. Completely bananas.
The new SEAT Ibiza, where beauty and technology come together.
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
Trouble seemed to be mounting for Nadal, but he has the resilience, you think, to see off most things, but getting continual treatment to that injury. Perhaps the biggest threat coming from this man. Scintillating game, but unfortunately for him, he couldn't get the break that he so desperately craves. The last time Nadal lost his opening match in a Masters Series event was back in 2006 at Miami to his good friend Carlos Moya. This is not something that potentially happens often. Needs to be a little careful he doesn't overplay that, because he knows that he's going to have to play it closer and closer to net, because Nadal's starting to read it. Mallorca was on his way before Gulbis even elected to play that shot. Eighth double. And is this the beginning and the end for the challenge from the 20-year-old? Put in a very erratic game in the opening set to lose his serve. In danger of doing the same thing here in the third. Could still be a challenge coming from Nadal here. And indeed there is. The breakthrough is Nadal's. And the biggest cheer of the evening. This crowd knowing that their man was in trouble. And he was right on the precipice in the last game, but courtesy of some errors from Gulbis.
Well, it's all about sustaining that intensity, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. And you know, he is big time, Gulbis, with his game, and he can be hit and miss, and when he misses, it really flies, doesn't it? Just one thing that I think, Marcus, is worth mentioning about Gulbis, particularly this year, and I'm sure it's because he's young and lacks some experience, but he's had an awful lot of very good losses to Nalbandian, 7-6 in the final set in Indian Wells, to Davydenko, 7-6 in the final set at a match point there. Murray at Queen's 3 sets, Nadal at Wimbledon 4 sets. I mean, they're all over those. And even last week when he had match points against Gonzalez, there's been probably 7 or 8 to what you call really good losses. And I just wonder, on those occasions, has he also stuck in the odd bad game? And that's really been the difference for him.
15-all.
Just turned 20 in August, and you get the sense with a lot of these guys that they start playing their best tennis at 21. I mean, a lot of people break into the top 100 at 21, but the really exceptional ones get everything right at around that age. And so Gulbis still with probably 10 months on his side before you can expect him to play the sort of tennis that perhaps will win him a slam one day.
Well, you do look at him and get the feeling that just with more experience a year down the track that he might be turning many of those what you would call in inverted commas terrific losses into convert them into wins, and his ranking will absolutely fly if he does that.
It's 40-15.
Opens his account in aces, his first one of the evening, and things getting better and better for Nadal. 4-1.
This is between me and you. Nurse, these people are mad. Cuckoo. What in the world could save these people? These people are mad, completely bananas.
The new SEAT Ibiza, where beauty and technology come together.
The name's Casino.
Inter Casino.
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
Wins against Nadal and the Masters Series events are not easy things to come by. Tough man to beat since 2005. He's notched up 109 victories and just 17 losses. And once again this evening, you can see why. His will is just, it seems, endless. He knows this match isn't over. He's sent off another racket to the stringers. He's still prepared for any eventuality. I think he'll be happy when his home tournament is, well, it's obviously not his home, but his home Masters Series event is stuck on the clay. They're doing him a big favour here. It's always going to be a challenge, and that's the type of speed for Nadal to win this event. He managed to do that so impressively against Lubicic in 2005.
Yes, and that was impressive 3 years ago, because when you think about it, Nadal didn't have the serve that he has now, he didn't have the volleys that he has now, all the variety off his backhand side.
I don't think there's anyone out there that can hit the ball harder than Gulbis. Is it off the ground?
Yes, it looks even harder than Fernando Gonzalez, doesn't it?
I mean, I think it's flatter. I think it comes through onto your off the court even bigger than that.
Well, you've got me thinking now, Mark, but I suppose the only person that maybe can come close to that is Marin Cilic. The same vintage, possibly. Same age. Born within about 2 months of each other.
Yeah, I mean, Del Potro's hitting the ball hard, but I just feel as though the way that he can just generate pace. It's perhaps the best right now. He's got to figure out a way of harnessing that power and getting the break back in this final set. Otherwise, all the good work will be in vain for Gulbis. A few more running repairs for Nadal.
He's falling to bits, isn't he? Gulbis still so dangerous. I mean, you just never know. No wonder Nadal sent another racket off, and he's just making sure that his body's in one piece. I mean, anything could happen out here.
Back in 30-15.
Checking which one was the mark with the umpire. You don't tire of seeing it, unless of course you're Nadal.
But one of the problems is Nadal can't actually see it because this swing, well, it's so short. There's just nothing of it to generate that much pace from so little stroke. I mean, it's just all racket speed.
See why Djokovic said that he used to lose to Gulbis all the time in practice when he was playing with Nicky Pilic. No pressure on, and he can produce strokes like that. His undoing has been when the pressure has been on, he hasn't found that type of shot. And again, just been found wanting.
Well, if he can produce this sort of tennis week in, week out, I mean, he is going to be right behind the big four, isn't he? In almost no time at all.
Iguales, juice.
There's too much doubt about that. He's improved on grass as well. His movement again was perhaps the thing that was holding him back in 07. Prove that he has the versatility to certainly mix it with the best, which is what you need to do these days. All these players so complete on all surfaces.
And he is so nearly there, isn't he? In terms of being the finished article. And everything he's done out here this evening, you can't really argue with, can you?
once again, Gulbis catapults another forehand winner. His body weight afterward going to the left rather than up the court, and yet he was still able to generate huge amounts of power. Extraordinary. His speed around a tennis court is quite extraordinary.
On the left far sideline, the ball was going good.
Or is there going to be a twist to this point? There isn't. Just heartache for Gulbis.
Stands. Nadal. Gulbis has 2 challenges remaining. Por favor.
We can see what it means to Nadal as well. He wants this victory so badly. And he hangs on to such a vital service game. 5-2.
Why do we keep following the same old design rules? Imagine if we could start again with a blank canvas.
Clear Indoors transitions lenses automatically adjust to changing light outdoors and block harmful UV rays and reduce glare. Transitions.
New advanced performance.
For US city breaks from $399 including flights and hotel, get more in the Big Blue Sale, now on at Expedia.
Let yourself go.
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
Tempo.
He's had greater triumphs this year, obviously, with victories at the French, at Wimbledon and Beijing. And I think this will rank quite high up as an individual win for Nadal. Not often is he forced into the role of being a virtual spectator for large passages of this match. Times he's watched one of those fly past him.
I love the way Nadal walks up to the line as if it's a sort of a personal insult to him that that ball landed in. Such good disguise. It's been a wonderful play for him.
30 love.
Well, he had to put the miles in once again, Nadal. Great court coverage. After Taste victory.
Yes, and it's just the ball that Gulbis is not that keen on. There's no pace on it to his backhand. It's almost like he doesn't quite know what to do with it. He's almost got too much time to decide as well. I think shots like that, in some ways, Nadal hasn't actually meant to hit back. It's the only shot he can get back.
Nadal will take his customary walk up towards the line. And he accepts his fate.
Nadal leads 5-3.
So the moment of truth has arrived finally for Ernest Gulbis.
Why do I feel we need to hang on to our hats here?
Attorney Carlos Costa, his agent to the right of him. Leading a little more easily after their man. It was that serve. Still making his presence felt here, Gulbis.
I just feel that Nadal has to be absolutely accurate with where he's serving. No wonder he's taking it. It does take quite a long time, but he needs to take extra time in a way just to get it absolutely right. Can't allow Gulbis to get hold of this ball.
His last couple of serves, I think, on the ad side show how respectful the world number one is of Gulbis off the backhand side on the return. That's what Nadal wanted. That's what he was waiting for. And that's ultimately what he got. The error from Gulbis.
40-30.
And is this fabulous encounter going to end here?
Por favor, gracias. Iguales, cheers.
It's not a ball you'd expect Nadal to miss, is it? Although I almost feel they both stopped, thinking the serve might have been long.
Nadal.
So Nadal it is once again needing just 1 point to set up a meeting with Richard Gasquet in the third round. The victory is Nadal's ultimately, but he was pushed so hard. A valiant effort from Gulbis. Once again, he gets Nadal's attention, but once again, it is the world number one who emerges, although not unscathed, victorious.
Well, these two went at it very hard for 30 games tonight over the course of this match. Gulbis played, stuck in a couple of poor ones, and that in the end, along with Nadal's resilience under pressure, proved to be the difference.
Well, what a match, and what a typical reaction from Rafael Nadal, having finally claimed victory. We do say it every time, but he fights tooth and nail for each point as though it's the last point he'll ever play in his life. But this guy has really enhanced his reputation, still only 20 years of age. And Ernest Gulbis is most certainly a star of the not-too-distant future. But Uncle Tony's happy enough because the current superstar has booked his place in the next round, and another terrific clash in store when he locks horns with Richard Gasquet in 48 hours' time. But the crowd got their money's worth, as they always do. Barry Cowns alongside me in the studio. That was wonderful stuff, wasn't it?
Ah, magic. Rafa